Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse Quarantine Edition. I'm Ben. As always, I'm joined by Gaz.
Oh.
And Mike.
Hello.
We're on Skype, as you can tell, so sound quality is not amazing, but we'll soldier on. Today's main cut and thrust of the topic is the Voynich Manuscript, untranslatable gibberish, or a woman's health guide.
Or secrets to a medieval clerical past.
Ooh.
Or a manuscript from another dimension.
Ooh.
Ooh.
There were some weird bath-type machines with pregnant women in there.
Yep.
But that's getting ahead of ourselves.
It is. Mike, would you like to welcome some new and returning listeners?
Yes, I would.
Oh, excellent. Carry on then.
Spiffing.
How battered are you then?
Just bad as normal.
No, right, okay.
Very, very battered then.
Yeah. Ashgrove, Australia. New York.
Hey, it's a wonderful town out here.
Read in the news.
Spring Hill, Florida. Ranchi, India. Kristiansand, Norway. Bilston, UK. Como, Italy. Sofia, Bulgaria. Helsinki, Finland.
Oh, hello.
Athens, Greece. Biggleswade, UK.
Biggles.
Ashburn, Virginia. Ashburton, Australia. Redfern, Australia. And the top three: Shady Nasty, New York. Guadalajara, Spain. And Fort Worth, Texas.
Wow.
Those military guys listening in again.
I just think we're being spied on.
Well, or they just enjoy listening to us.
I think there's probably some like military sort of listening post there. They just either they're listening to us as potential terrorists, or they'd actually quite like it. I wouldn't like to say which it is.
I think they were given the assignment of listening to us, and then they realised how wonderful we are, and spread through the military base like wildfire, and now, we're cool with all the kids on the military base.
Oh, wow.
Yep, the whole 12 of them.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you very much for listening. Stay
The
safe and all that.
dozen.
We don't have the largest of listenerships, but we have a very loyal listenership who are with us every week.
One.
And for that, we thank them.
The crazy dozen.
From the bottom of our testicles.
All right, so you do some weird news.
From the bottom of my giant, swollen, painful testicles.
Well, just have a wank.
It's not the same.
You're not getting anything for at least another 3 weeks, at least.
I know.
You're going to have to pop it eventually, because otherwise you're literally just jizzing your pants.
Do you know, man, can I tell you something terrifying that happened as a teenager? Because I used to play basketball at quite a high level for my age. And you wear vests while playing basketball. Now, I didn't physically actually work out because I was a bit too young to be lifting weights, but I was quite fit for my age at that time. But somebody joked about having, the old, your right arm being bigger than your left arm because of all the wanking sort of joke. Somebody made that joke, and I just sort of thought, well, I'll just compare just in case. And I made the terrifying discovery that the right arm was noticeably more muscular than the left. Now, was that because of all the basketball? But I was also doing a ferocious amount of masturbating at that time.
Well, who wasn't it?
I'd put it at 50-50.
You say that now, but when I do my dumbbell curls, I'm always weaker on my left arm than my right.
Yeah, I think you catch up eventually over time. Like your left catches up to your right if you're working out over time. But yeah, and I remember I had a bit of a complex about it then for a while. I was like, to try and avoid tensing my arm in front of anybody.
Well, just turn to the side and tense your right arm. And
I did start using my left.
Luckily, I'm an ambidextrous wanker.
Me too.
There's always fucking one.
No, I still need two hands, mate.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, your penis is another dimension. We all know that.
One hand's to hold on to the cat. Sorry, poor Chester.
He did look traumatised last time I saw him.
Oh. Meow. Right.
Isn't it an interesting little side note is that 2020 is that shit that the US government's kind of admitted that UFOs are real and no one's batted an eyelid?
Yeah. Why aren't people running around in the street? Oh, I know why they're not in the streets. They'll get
yeah. we should immediately join together into a mass band and march on London. Thousands of us.
It's almost like they chose like a certain opportune moment when the news was like concerned with something else. Just like 9/11.
Yeah, and losing.
The day after they announced all that losses and in the Pentagon.
We've just misplaced $1 trillion.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Is that a bird or is it a plane?
Oh no, it's a cruise missile coming down.
And
that's what it is.
Financial offices of the Pentagon.
Yeah.
But don't be a tinfoil hat wearing knobhead.
No, it's just all coincidence.
Don't question it, you fool.
Oh dear. But yeah, so like they basically said, they haven't said that they're the aliens, alien craft, but they have said these things, we don't know what they are, and they are definitely coming and buzzing our planes and ships and stuff. And you go, well, it's aliens, isn't it? Let's face it.
Well, this is the thing, right? They've picked the perfect time, because it's like, I know a guy from the market who's well into conspiracy, like he's a bit of a doomsday prepper, to be honest, like the British equivalent, only instead of stockpiling automatic weapons, it's like camping gas and like the odd machete. But anyway,
to be fair, I remember when you mocked me for my stockpiling of 30 days food and water.
We did.
Doesn't look so stupid now, does it?
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. But this guy.
Which toilet roll did you have?
I didn't have enough toilet roll.
You found him.
Yeah.
So this guy, right? He's obsessed with conspiracies, and you'd think he'd be right onto that alien thing, but instead he sent me a video last night that I can't fucking believe I wasted, like, I think it was 3 minutes long, 3 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Do you know what this fucking thing was trying to say? It was trying to say that we were prepared for this, we were prepped for the coronavirus fucking 8 years ago at the Olympics, at the opening ceremony, because there was all those beds and dancing doctors. And they were like splicing it in with footage of the doctors dancing during the pandemic and, trying to cheer everyone up. And it was saying that we'd been prepped for it 8 years ago. And I was thinking, I'd completely fucking forgotten that the Olympics even happened until I watched this video. What bullshit. They said aliens were real yesterday. Why isn't he on that?
Gaz, we were prepped in 1981 in Dean Koontz's novel Wuhan 400.
Oh,
I did.
God.
Fucking prep. Jesus Christ.
2020, 20 times 20 is 400.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, God, numerology, Mike's back.
You're the most, like, scientifically minded of the three of us. Why have you suddenly gone on this numerology trip? What's happening?
I'm just pushing it because I know it annoys you guys.
That's your cover. I think this is your new science.
Yes, the science of numerology.
Which American guy is it? The firefighter prophet, isn't he? The numerologist, the one who kept on saying that Planet X Nibiru was going to show up 3 times. David Mead, you've become an acolyte of Mead, haven't you?
Oh, I'm drunk on my own hubris.
Oh, he drags it out every time.
Number Wang.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. We've all been told to stay indoors and not go out, and then powers that be say, "Hey, these things are coming. We don't know what they are. Do you think we're going to be invaded by aliens?"
Well, isn't that always been the plan? That there's going to be a fake alien invasion.
Yeah.
That's what Mr. Ikey Baby says, isn't it? I think, and his ilk.
Well, funnily enough, we can
ilk.
start weird news with Ike if you like.
Oh, go on then. Hey, that was a completely accidental segue that if I hadn't have said this bit that I'm saying now, would have looked half almost professional.
Yeah. This is weird news. It's going to take 20 minutes, half an hour, and then we'll crack on with the main cut and thrust of today's topic.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
Coronavirus conspiracy theorist David Icke's Facebook page deleted as pressure mounts on social media companies. So Saint Icke, no Facebook presence anymore.
He's been fucking censored.
Conspiracy theorist David Icke had his main Facebook page deleted amid mounting calls for social media companies to combat dangerous misinformation. Icke, a former sports commentator, is a vocal backer of the conspiracy theory that 5G technology spreads coronavirus, which has prompted a wave of attacks on engineers and masts. Doctors, MPs, and counter-extremism campaigners are calling on internet giants to stop their platforms being used to amplify Icke's racism and misinformation about COVID-19 to millions of people.
Do you know what?
Racist, he does mean lizards.
Nah. Do you know what
he's saying?
This might actually work in his benefit.
Yeah.
Bringing him back
sell
into
more
the
books.
headlines. It's bringing him back
It'll make
into
him a
headlines,
martyr.
isn't it? Yeah, make him a martyr, exactly.
Well, no publicity is bad publicity unless you're being called out as a nonce.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet.
So he's all right for now.
Yeah.
What they're saying is the racism thing is in one video in which Icke claims a Jewish Rothschild family helped plan the coronavirus outbreak. It's the 27th most viewed video about the virus on YouTube.
He's not racist. That's not a racist statement, is it?
You know what it's like with anything vaguely about the Rothschilds, because you just go, oh, anti-Semitism, there you go, and you just throw that at you. That's where he's been done.
Yeah, it's exactly what they did to the Labour Party.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anything that criticises Israel, anti-Semitic. And I'm not saying there wasn't anti-Semitic voices in the Labour Party. There were. But to label everything as anti-Semitic, that's dangerous, man. You can't do that. You got to be able to criticise the Israeli government.
Yeah. I'll send you a picture later. Where I'm living at the moment, my housemate has a giant Palestine flag in the window for all to see, which is interesting. He's not anti-Semitic either. He just thinks that this little strip of land shouldn't be getting blown to shit all the time.
Yeah, he's got a right to do that, hasn't he?
Yeah, but people do give him shit about it occasionally. But he quite likes it, I think, because he likes to challenge and say, why is it fucking anti-Semitic to think that this country shouldn't be being bombed?
Not even that, just to exist.
Yeah, just leave them be.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's I don't think that's for us to.
No.
We're not going to solve the Palestine problem during the weird news. What's fucking Icke? Finish this Icke story, Ben.
Well, basically, because he said it's the Rothschilds and he's claiming that COVID-19 is 5G, which I know a lot of people do. A lot of people.
Where are you, boys?
I think it's bullshit. It's non-ionizing radiation, so it shouldn't do anything to the body.
Mike?
Well, to be fair, I've not really looked into it, but I imagine I'd probably go on the side of the science and say that it's bollocks.
Yeah, I haven't.
They said this about 4G.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't bothered looking into it because, like my conspiracy friend who I mentioned earlier, he's also he doesn't have a microwave in the house because he's seen a video showing how much radiation comes off them. But my point to him was like, if it's cooking me from the inside, why isn't everyone with a microwave dropping dead in their 30s? I was like, it's obviously not that bad for me. It might not be great for me, but I'm not going to worry about it. I like the microwave. Same with 5G. Man, I want to download songs fast.
I've only seen a couple of scientific studies, but they've all said that the 5G is clear for use, like so.
Nah, I'm not going to worry about it.
No, that's pretty much it. They're basically saying... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, same with chemtrails. It might be true, but what the fuck can I do about it? So I'm not going to obsess over it.
And I mean, let me just be clear. That was scientific studies about 5G, like hurting you in sort of radiation waves, not the coronavirus. I mean, how can 5G give you the coronavirus? Doesn't make any sense.
Nah.
It's bouncing off. What it does is it pushes the virus up into the atmosphere. It then bounces off the glass dome.
Oh, there we go.
At a much greater speed, and then mixes with the chemtrails and seeds people somehow.
I've no fucking idea. But you try telling people that there's actually a pandemic, and all of a sudden everyone wants to go outdoors.
It's amazing how like a good 70% of that, that's a total guess I'm pulling out my ass, purely anecdotal, but a fuckload of people seem to have gone down the conspiracy route with this pandemic. It's quite interesting. They're essentially, the vast majority of general public have reached the point in time, I think, where they're like, we know the TV and the government are full of shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Mistrust, and they're right to mistrust media and the governments. They've lied to us for years and years and years.
They just maybe shouldn't be listening to the shit that their mum's sharing on Facebook, though, from like some dodgy website that says, you know, drinking tea will protect.
Drinking bleach will fucking kill the coronavirus.
And that leads us on to the next article.
Hey, fucking hell, boys. Twice in a row.
So, yeah, Mike, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, man. 2 men drink disinfectants in efforts to prevent coronavirus.
Yeah.
The patients in Georgia, both of whom have a history of psychiatric problems, are expected to make a full recovery.
Jesus Christ, I just fucking drunk some bleach.
Gaylord Lopez.
Life dealt him some shit hands, man.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, he's got a really cool... last name Lopez is pretty cool. But, Gaylord.
What's your name? Lopez. Oh, that's pretty cool. What's your first name? Gaylord. I bet the kids at school who bullied him would call him Faggot King.
And I bet he hated it when Meet the Fockers came out.
Oh, yeah.
His name was Gaylord, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know that the movie company wouldn't let them call that unless they actually found somebody with that name in real life, Gaylord Focker.
And they did, I think.
And they did. I think it was someone in Canada.
Isn't it a biblical name or something? Like, I'm sure.
Yeah, possibly.
Actually.
Well, gay used to mean happy, didn't it?
Yeah, or just a very, very old name, I think, possibly. Remember, listener, you are the fact checker. Fucking Gaylord.
Either way, I'm immature to find it funny, so I'm immature to find it hilarious, so
it's funny as fuck. That'd be a great wrestling gimmick, wouldn't it?
There is a wrestler called Gaylord.
What is it? No, but I mean just Gaylord, so like Lord of the Gays, but he's really gay and really hard. There
was a wrestler called Johnny Gaylord.
Johnny Gaylord? Who did he wrestle for?
He was on the Adult Channel.
Mike, was he wrestling transsexual midgets by any chance?
That's the one. Have you seen it too?
No, it's just a wild guess.
Mike, if there was like penetrative sex happening, then it wasn't fucking wrestling you were watching. I've been watching since I was like 3 or 4, and I've never seen one single cum shot.
All I can say is you're missing out.
I don't think I am.
No, honestly, I'm sure there was a wrestler called Johnny Gaylord, unless I dreamt it.
I can feel your warm nutsack against my spine. I love you, Johnny Gaylord. Pin me.
I just had this feeling that Johnny Gaylord would have like a little posse of gay men, and when he was losing, they'd like jump out the crowd.
Mike
and do over the wrestler Johnny was fighting, and then he'd pin him.
I'm going to have to search for it now to see if I made it up or not.
I'm quite convinced there is not a wrestler called Johnny Gaylord. But, all right, let's do it. I'll tell you what, I'll carry on reading this article. So, Gaylord Lopez.
No, there was, but he wasn't called Johnny, he was called Jeff.
Jeff Gaylord.
Who the fuck did he wrestle for?
A retired American professional wrestler who competed in North American regional independent promotions, including Bill Watts Universal Wrestling Federation, World Class Championship Wrestling.
WCW.
How do you know the name of an obscure independent American professional wrestler, Mike?
Oh, fuck knows, man.
That's so That's like me in the name of like random Division 2 left back. Like,
He could do that too.
I could do that.
Fair enough. Oh well, I'm going to look at where the name Gaylord comes from.
You know, when we played Champo, or when we did play Champo, he's like, I'll be looking at a player, I'll go, oh, ex-Forest him. Never heard this fucker before. Went to, he used to play for us at the youth level. Fucking Stato.
Yeah. I'm a Forest fan, what can I say?
So, here we go, very quickly before you finish, Ben. Gaylord is a name of Norman French origin, from the old French Gaillard, meaning joyful or high-spirited.
Ah,
Lovely.
yeah. Do you want to carry on then, Mike? From we had a bit of a Gaylord tangent then.
Yeah.
Gaylord Lopez, director of Georgia Poison Center, said a man in his 50s from southwest of Atlanta was hospitalized after claiming to have drunk 16 ounces of bleach on Saturday.
I think that's a lot of bleach.
It really is.
Mr. Lopez told a newspaper, I don't know very many patients who will take 16 ounces, but then again, it is a psych history patient. That's happened to me.
Okay.
But then again, if if the guy that I'm starting to think that some of these more hardcore Trump supporters, it's just a cult now. I don't think it's even a political party; it's a cult of personality. 100 people did it. These are just 2. 100 people tried to put sanitizer into themselves, disinfectant into themselves. And you're like, well, and then he's just like, I was being sarcastic. You're like, no, you weren't. No, you fucking weren't, mate. You just waffle on and hope it makes a good soundbite, and sadly, it said something so idiotic it got through.
Yeah, but when it does register and people say, oh, that's a load of bollocks, he retracts and said he never said it, or I'm being sarcastic. It's like he's got his own reality bubble. That it's like he thinks if he can just lie enough, it can change reality.
We've all tried that.
Well, it kind of works for him, doesn't it? Because everyone just moves on.
It does, That's this fucked up thing. It does seem to work. Some people do actually believe every word he says, i.e. the 55 people that have died from drinking bleach so far.
Fucking hell.
He can
I shouldn't laugh, but fucking hell.
Oh, no, you should laugh. You can laugh at that. That's all self-inflicted. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson could tell me to drink bleach. I still ain't going to fucking do it.
No, that's it.
But what if Hulk Hogan did?
He could tell me, Mike, but it's still not going to override my common sense because I'm not, intensely, religiously dedicated to him like a Riri.
I was just checking.
It's okay. Yeah. Love the guy. Now, if somebody intensely beautiful said, drink a bit of bleach and I'll suck you off, well, I'll certainly line up a few shots of bleach. I don't know.
So you can have the last blowjob of your life.
Well, what a way to go. I haven't really got a celebrity crush at the moment. I can't think of anyone, but, someone exceptionally world-class fit, maybe. It'd be worth a go.
I am considering it myself. It's been a while.
Yeah. Quarantine's a son of a bitch. Anyway, moving on.
I don't think I've ever watched so much Pornhub.
You're not on your own.
I know I'm not. I think there's probably people who've watched more than me. I just want to read the Trump quote where he says about the disinfectant. I see that disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute. And this is a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning. You're like, oh, God. Oh, this is what we've come to.
A cleaning. He's literally thinking of it like, I pay people to clean my hotels and golf courses, and they do a cleaning, and then they're clean afterwards. Can't we do a cleaning on the body? Like a cleaning? Like the cleaning lady? She does a cleaning. She's clean now.
Oh, dear God.
Take a tablet and lie down.
Take your Vicodin. Snort that.
God, snort this and just shut the fuck up. They say I could be a doctor. I've shown great aptitude for this. He actually said that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
God. Oh, God.
This is a natural gift for science.
Oh. So you walk in there and you're like, doctor, so like, what's the prognosis? How bad is my liver? China. It's China. What do? How do I fix this? It's China's fault. Like, oh, it's insane.
Isn't it interesting that like people are blaming China for this? And if it did get released accidentally, then yes, blame them. If this is something natural, then don't blame China. What if it had been America where this had started? Do you think people would be saying blame America?
No.
It's double standards, isn't it?
Well, look at the perfect example of that in our own country is people literally like the business for Chinese restaurants and Chinese food is like just dropped off. Lots of people are not buying Chinese food at the moment because of fear of the corona. Yet Italy is the second most devastated country, and people certainly haven't stopped buying pasta off the fucking shelves, have they?
No, that's true.
So, yeah. Mind you, then again, Italians don't have, rightly or wrongly, a reputation for eating anything and everything, and the Chinese do. Whether that's right or wrong, that reputation exists, and that's what people are basing it on. I'm not saying it's right, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I will blame their food hygiene quality, i.e. having live markets where those animals can transmit diseases. Yeah. That's up, hasn't it?
Just the term alone, wet market, makes me want to puke.
Yeah. Don't worry, after Brexit we'll be doing that, going to buy live chickens to slaughter at home and things like that.
Oh yeah,
we've got lucky.
We'll be trying to catch fucking starlings because we're fucking starving, you know what I mean?
We've got Brexit to look forward to, haven't we? After Corona. It'll be a welcome change. Maybe this is what this was all about. It was a ploy to make Brexit bearable.
Yeah, maybe. Do you want to do the last article then, Gaz?
Yep, no worries. It's me. So, and finally, coronavirus. DUP politician blames pandemic on abortions and same-sex marriage. Of course he does.
Judging by the state of his face, I'd imagine he's just jealous, to be honest.
He looks like a DUP member, doesn't he?
He does.
For Americans, or anybody who doesn't know who the DUP are, they're a bit like the American Republican Party.
Like super strict version.
No, not as bad as them. They're the worst, but...
They're basically like a hard right Catholic party.
Yeah, pricks. Anyway, little quote from him at the start. It says, "They laughed at Noah until the rain started," wrote John Carter. There was nobody there because it wasn't real. The flood was real, but Noah wasn't.
The thing that gets me with that is like, what? So Noah was the only guy with a boat on Earth?
Because God told him to build a massive one, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, that's only to store the animals in. Couldn't like fisherman Bob could have just popped in his fishing boat and rigging it out?
Well, what I do know, Ben, is that the animals went in 2 by 2, da-da-da-da. The animals went in 2 by 2, da-da. Remember singing that?
I do, yeah, I do.
Unless they were unclean and they went in 7 by 7.
Hey?
That's a joke that I don't get.
No, it's not a joke, it's just a fact.
Okay, a Bible fact.
Yeah, Bible facts.
There's none of them in. You know for a fact there's none of them in the Bible.
That's my new segment, Bible facts.
Oh God, he's caught religion as well.
Bible facts with Mike. He's gonna dress like Cook.
Mike, you can
With a little
you can do your own podcast if you're going to start doing Bible facts.
That's a brilliant name for a fucking podcast, man.
I will. It'll be a hit. Bible facts and Mike.
With special guests Pat Robinson and Jim Backer.
Hey.
Bible facts.
Bible facts.
Welcome to episode 1 of Bible Facts.
Did you know there aren't 10 commandments in the Bible? There's actually about 608.
Wow.
By the way,
You can't help him. He's just a font of Bible information.
He's like some kind of biblical scholar.
He's like a biblical rain man. Man talk, something like that, isn't it?
I've no idea. I'm watched that movie in a long time.
Very special.
Yes, he is.
Just like Mike. So, a DUP councillor has apologised after he compared himself to Noah in the Bible in a Facebook post in which he appeared to suggest the global coronavirus pandemic was the, quote, judgment of God on the legislation of abortion and same-sex marriage in Northern Ireland and a, quote, immoral and corrupt government. John Carson, who represents Ballymena in County Antrim, former stronghold of ex-leader Ian Paisley, has been criticised for his disgraceful Facebook post, which he said was misinterpreted. In the original post, he wrote, I said when abortion was legalised that our nation would be judged by God because of its departure from his word and the legislation of the murder of the unborn child as well as same-sex marriage. I was laughed at and mocked by some, but as I said at the time, they laughed at Noah until the rain started. You reap what you sow, and our nation is now reaping the judgment of God because of an immoral and corrupt government. It is time to repent and turn again to the God of our fathers. No.
I don't think people like this should actually be in any position of power.
No, he's delusional. The DUP, which strongly opposed Westminster legislation liberalising the law surrounding terminations, has distanced from the comments. On Thursday, Mr. Carson wrote, folks, yesterday afternoon, I put a post on Facebook which was taken by some and totally misinterpreted. Well, I actually think this is me editorialising now, that it was quite clear what you were fucking saying, you prick.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows will know that I would not intentionally set out to cause hurt or offence to anyone. And if I did, then I humbly apologise. However, I will never apologise for my Christian faith and will not be silenced by those that are opposed to the truth of God's word. The Rainbow Project, a Belfast-based LGBT support organisation, told the Press Association Mr. Carson's post was, quote, disgraceful but not at all surprising.
Well, for one, I'm going to trying to get him on as the first guest host on Bible Facts.
But
I'm sure he'd fit in.
It's a pleasure to be here on Bible Facts with you, Mike. It really is. Well, I think that's all there really is to that story. He's trying to claim that he wasn't trying to upset anyone. He clearly was.
Well, he clearly was, exactly. That's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. And stand by your original decision to be a twat. I'd respect you.
I just don't think people like that should be allowed anywhere near the corridors of power.
The problem is they've got to have freedom to believe what they want.
That's it, mate.
Not in my glorious utopia, there won't be.
It's not a utopia, Ben, when you're the dictator. It doesn't work. Utopias don't have dictators.
I'll be a benevolent dictator.
Contradiction in terms. It won't be a utopia if there's a dictator.
It will be based on science and reason.
It'll be utopia for you and hell for everybody else.
I'll remake the world in my own image. What's wrong with that?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
He'd have fucking conscription at the age of 15, wouldn't he?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
15 months.
We have a Peace Corps.
Jesus. Instead of Animal Farm being read by 15-year-olds for English, it would be Mein Kampf.
Oh, come on. I'm not saying I'm not a Nazi. I'm just saying that people like this, their ideas are too dangerous and against the best interests of humanity, which I love.
Funny enough, that's what the Nazis said.
No, it's not.
You're finding it is.
You know.
You have to. This guy has to have religious freedom. I agree. It is scary that people in power believe like fairy tales, but he has the freedom to do so, and I have the freedom to not believe it. Yeah. You know. So unfortunately, I hate to sound all wet and liberal. I think that's where I fall on that.
Well, that's a shame. I was going to give you the job of taking these people out when I'm in charge.
I mean, I still think he's a fucking idiot cunt.
I'll get someone else to do it. It's all right. You told yourself to have a cushy ministerial post.
Is it the Minister of Religious Cleansing?
That's the one.
The pacifist. But you see, if you go down that route though, and I tell him he can't have that job because he believes in God, then he could say to me, well, I don't think someone who's a wrestling fan should be in charge of a van that could kill people because wrestling fans are stupid. And then,
not stupid as him.
But you see, we could go around in circles like that, couldn't we?
Look, he believes in a burning bush and a baby being born to a virgin and an elderly man building a giant ship out of wood on his own to house two of every animal. And then them animals, right? So two penguins trotted all the way from Turkey to the South Pole, and
Turkish penguins.
Eh?
Turkish penguins.
Well, they say the Ark ended up in Turkey, right? So two penguins went all the way from Turkey to Antarctica and removed every trace of their passing, of the dead, the young, everything, their footprints even. Removed it all as they went along, and then went to the South Pole.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just checking.
There's a bucket, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's bollocks, isn't it? I mean, let's face it.
I heard a priest actually scared the shit out of me on some podcast I was listening. He was
saying, touch you?
Yeah, on the winning. If you look in Book of Revelation, he was saying that it does actually. He thinks his interpretation is that it's telling you a meteorite's gonna kill Earth, which is also what scientists say, and I actually found that slightly unsettling.
Yeah, but that's like you say. Well, yeah, something will hit the Earth at some point.
Yeah, they knew about meteorites.
In
the biblical times.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was.
It's just playing the long game. It's playing the odds. I mean, yeah, one day something will hit us. Oh, that's the Book of Revelations told you.
Well, I believe in ancient civilizations anyway, so fuck the Bible.
Yeah. Right, can we call a quick break?
No, wet your pants. It'll be funny. Put the microphone in your crotch and let's record it for prosperity. It'll be hilarious. This could be what finally pushes us over the ratings edge and breaks us into the big time.
Or it could be the thing that destroys us and we lose all our listenership.
And it will certainly ruin your microphone. Yeah, go for a wee, Ben. I'll wait for you.
And we're back. So, let's talk about the main topic of today, the Voynich Manuscript. Now, I have a basic backstory and story with it, so if you guys have got anything to add, please do jump in. So, the 600-year-old riddle of the Voynich Manuscript explained. The undecipherable medieval manuscript contains a code so complex that no one has been able to crack it. In 1912, an antiques dealer named Wilfred Voynich came across a remarkable manuscript. It wasn't gilded or beautifully illuminated like the manuscripts with which it was bundled, but it caught his eye nonetheless. It was in code. It was long, 234 pages, although some are missing, aren't they?
Yeah.
It was filled with pictures of plants and naked women and what appeared to be astrological diagrams, and line after line of script. And not a word of the script was comprehensible. It wasn't in any known shorthand or variation of medieval Latin, or English, or French, or any other known language. The entire thing was in code.
Indecipherable code.
Indecipherable code. And obviously, presumably, one of the pages missing is probably the cipher key. I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess.
It's quite possible. I imagine that maybe it was separate to it. You normally wouldn't have the cipher key in the book. You'd have it in a separate book, and maybe that book's got missing.
Well, maybe one of the pages tells you what the cipher key is in another book.
Maybe.
Or maybe it was just one of them things that was passed around, and you had to be you had to be part of the club to read it.
Yeah, like Freemason shit.
Yeah.
But for doctors and quacks.
Wise women or men. The fact that this was a 13th century manuscript cipher, this is Voynich, convinced me that it must be a work of exceptional importance, and to my knowledge, the existence of a manuscript of such an early date written entirely in cipher was an unknown. Two problems present themselves. The text must be unravelled, and the history of the manuscript must be traced. To this date, no one has successfully solved either problem, although there are people that claim it has now been solved. But
they've
still don't know,
unverified. They haven't been confirmed, have they?
No.
No one's agreed that is breaking the code. There's a lot of skepticism about that.
The thing is, no one can kind of prove it in a way, because you haven't got the author or the cipher, so you could say, oh, this says one thing, it could mean something completely else. It could be completely wrong. You can't crack these things because you haven't got a cipher key. I mean, like it says, like the British code breakers of Bletchley Park had a go at this. That's coming a bit later on.
Yeah, but surely you can crack it. Once you crack the code, it unlocks itself.
Yeah, but there's no way of verifying what it says. I mean, like
there's no way of verifying.
So the Enigma code, they cracked that, and they said, all right, there's going to be submarines here, here, and here, and there were. So that's obviously the code's right. But with this, it could say like, the dog is red, and it's actually something like out of Some of the Demon.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yeah, it starts talking about Clifford the Big Red Dog, but in reality, you're summoning Abaddon, the Destroyer of Worlds, from the 7th layer of Hell.
Is Clifford the Big Red Dog preparing me for what's coming?
Maybe, who knows?
Like the Olympic ceremony.
Yes, that's it.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly prepared for a lot of shit, aren't I?
It's they give us all this warning and we still panic. It's terrible, really.
Yeah. Oh well, aliens are real.
Of course they are. So the text that came to be known as the Voynich Manuscript is now housed at Yale. Hang on, I just want to say that I've been telling you all aliens are real since this podcast began.
Yeah, but you're Ben and that's the Pentagon.
I don't see a difference.
There's a big difference between perhaps a UFO, which might be an alien probe, has been seen in our skies, to there's an alien-human exchange program where they went to fucking planet Serp over 13 years.
What about the Kelly Hopkins encounter?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And giant owls.
And no owls involved.
Owls, nothing but owls.
I just want to point out that I've been telling you all since this podcast began. And now it's confirmed. Fantastic.
No, like Mike just said,
not confirmed. It's just a UFO. It's unidentified flying objects. Nothing about aliens.
Well, come on, we all know the aliens are in it.
Might well be.
Who else is piloting it? Well, I'm just saying, I've been telling you all. I'm telling the both of you, and you've laughed at me. Laughed.
Oh God.
Is this about your insufferable, isn't it?
Going to be.
Hey?
Sorry.
I meant more so than he is now.
Please continue. Please continue, Ben. Stop sucking yourself up.
Oh, I had the ribs removed, but I still can't get down.
I meant metaphorically.
Dozens of medievalists and cryptologists study it every year. Earlier this September, scholar Nicholas Gibbs published an article in the Times literary supplement claiming to have cracked the code, only to be poo-pooed That's the words of the article by medievalists across the internet. Terrible thing, poo-poo.
Especially, you don't want to get poo-pooed by a medievalist.
You certainly don't. It's led to many an honour jaw being poo-pooed. So Gibbs may have failed to decipher the Voynich manuscript, but he joins a long and illustrious lineage of failures. Cryptologists across the world have tried and failed to decode the Voynich since at least the 17th century, when an alchemist, that's a pretty cool job title, described it as a, quote, certain riddle of the Sphinx.
And he knows that for certain.
Well, it's certainly a riddle.
It sure is. I
want to be an alchemist.
I've made the most perfect green.
A brooch of the finest green. Looks like you sneezed. Still, I'll have a go. I like a challenge.
You are challenged.
I like a challenge. So where did this Voynich manuscript come from? No one knows who wrote the Voynich manuscript or for what purpose, but carbon dating places its origins between 1404 and 1438, despite Voynich's claim that it was a 13th century document. As far back as anyone has trapped.
Sorry to interrupt, Ben. Can you, just for people like me, catch me up? 1400s, describe what that looks like in sort of what movies have I seen that was set in the 1400s?
Braveheart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Not far off, anyway, certainly.
Yeah.
The Musketeers were later, weren't they? Oh, fuck. Anything with an old pope in it. Do you say anything like that?
So I'm picturing people with, like, you know, sort of rugged, sort of bearskin clothes and swords.
You're looking at swords in Europe. I suppose the Renaissance is just starting to kick off, so education is starting to come back a little bit. Everyone's wearing them baggy pantaloons.
Right.
Is it pre-Tudor?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the Armada was like 1551 or something like that, and that's Queen Elizabeth. So we're talking like sort of 70 years before that.
I'm just Googling 1400s dress style just to give myself a mental image. Yeah.
I suppose they're dressed in like the Swiss Guard would with them baggy pants and.
It looks to me like sort of Robin Hood times.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit later than that, but yeah, not much had gone on.
Between Robin Hood and Braveheart.
Yeah, some of the blokes, the royal ones, look like King Henry VIII a bit. They got poncy.
Yeah, sort of just before that, and just about before pre-Tudor. Yeah, it's pre-Tudor.
Gotcha. Right. Sorry, I've caught up. So that's fairly. Society is like. It's not the absolute shits, is it? At that point, like there is some sophistication and like.
Yeah, we were conquered by the Normans in 1066, weren't we? And
yeah.
We still had kings and queens and things, but there were no sort of tribes left. It was all.
No, we were pretty much nations at this point. Well, we were nations at this point. Proto-empires, almost.
Okay. And we had pubs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Taverns, yeah.
Yeah. So
where you go and get a flagon of ale and a busty wench riddled with the clap.
And everyone stank.
Yeah.
Shit in the streets.
Yeah.
And somebody knew how to do medicine and didn't want none of them rotten-mouthed, piss-weasel, fucking anybody to find out the secret to make money off of it. So he wrote it down in a mad code. But I know I'm getting slightly ahead of myself, but I'll come back to this in detail later. There is some pretty mad drawings of some contraptions.
Yes, there are. Yeah, it's like almost sort of Da Vinci-esque in that respect.
Yeah, it's a bit steampunky.
Yes, very much so. I like the steampunky thing. The thing it's got. I like the little dragon and the tree and the chick in the hot tub time machine too.
Yeah. So right, sorry, I derailed us, but that sets the scene. That's where we are in history when this fucker was written a long fucking time ago.
Baggy trousers and a feather in your hat. Look at it that way. So far like you're going. So as far back as anyone has been able to track discussion of the Voynich manuscript, there is no history of it existing as anything other than a marvellous, indecipherable curiosity. It entered the historical record centuries old and already unreadable. The first supposed owner of the manuscript is believed to be the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II. He had a particularly red nose.
Oh, you know the Vatican's got loads of shit like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You fucking know it.
Now, he allegedly purchased it for 600 gold ducats, which is $90,000 in today's money, sometime around the beginning of the 17th century, apparently under the belief the manuscript was the work of the 13th century English alchemist Roger Bacon.
Pig fucker.
Relative of Kevin?
God, no. Roger Bacon
I don't know, but
was...
he's a pig fucker, whoever he is.
What if he invented bacon? Would that make him a pig fucker?
His name's Roger Bacon, he's a pig fucker.
Is that the entire logic you've got?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our science officer, Mike.
That's how they got their names in them days. It was your trade, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he was a butcher.
Yeah, he was caught fucking his dead pigs.
How do you know he's caught fucking the dead pigs? That's a massive leap to take.
Here, why'd they call your dad pig fucker? Well, or as I know, he got fucking a dead pig. You're a fine one to talk, cow molester. Mike, cow molester, why don't you fuck off judging me? Sorry.
So Rudolph II was passionately devoted to alchemy and the occult. However, he seemed to have no luck decoding the manuscript, and it passed from hand to hand until it ended up in Jesuit holdings in Rome, where it would remain hidden until Voynich turned it up 300 years later.
It's a bit like my penis. Sorry.
What, it's been passed hand to hand and ends up in the priesthood?
And then was his face.
Your penis is in the priesthood.
It's in a priest.
Gaz, are you a member of the castrati?
I don't know what that means.
You know, in the old days when the little boys used to sing with really high voices, they actually used to castrate them.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Testicles? Can't you hear the bass in my voice?
Breaking news, Gaz has no testicles.
I'm like the ghost of Johnny Cash. Morning was making. See, loads of bass in my voice. You'll have my testicles, listeners.
But your penis is in the priesthood.
It's in a priest.
Now?
Yes.
Do you want him to say hello, or?
If I sound distracted. No, he's professional. He knows not to talk during recording.
Fair enough. So on the way. Sorry, go on. Hey?
I said I put the fear of God into it.
Ah. You know what's easier than that? Ball gag. Thank me later. So along the way, the manuscript paused with early cryptologists like the Jesuit polymath Athanasius Kircher, who claimed to have decoded the Egyptian hieroglyphics. He hadn't, but it remained unsolved. It seemed to consume the lives of its owners. To its deciphering, he devoted unflagging toil, wrote the friend of one owner after his death. He relinquished hope only with his life.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that, dedicating your whole life to cracking this code and you die without doing it.
Well,
yeah.
Well, my life is...
If you can afford to live where you can just literally spend all day trying to crack a code, you're probably pretty well off. I'd imagine he wasn't sat there in his own shit under a bush. He sat in a fucking mansion in his laboratory where his children try and come and get his attention. He tells them to go away and puts them back in the hands of the nanny.
Wow.
All I'm saying is it probably drove him mad.
Well, maybe it did. Maybe he did end up in his own shit living under a bush.
There you go.
So, what's in the book? The Voynich Manuscript appears to have 7 separate sections. Over time, Voynich enthusiasts have given each section a conventional name: botanical, astronomical, cosmological, zodiac, biological, pharmaceutical, and recipes. Because who doesn't need a recipe?
Well, it's no fucking good, is it, if you can't read the fucking recipe and the fucking code you don't understand? Pointless, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. I'll never have that recipe again. Left the cake out in the rain.
Tasted like shit. It's almost like you were just making it up as you went along because you didn't know what to say. Sorry.
The first section is the botanical section, which comprises about half the manuscript and include pictures of herbs. Some of the herbs appear to be real plants, some of them don't seem to exist, and a few of them are said to resemble sunflowers, which did not exist in Europe in the 15th century.
Ooh.
Following the botanical section is the astronomical section with pictures of the sun, moon, and stars, and then the cosmological section with pictures of circular geometric designs, and the zodiac section, which features emblems of the zodiac signs. Yeah?
Okay, all straightforward so far, yeah?
Yeah. The biological section is filled with illustrations of naked humans, mostly women, in a series of tubes or baths filled with liquid.
Yeah, this is where it gets a bit weird. we'll admit.
Or a bit sexual. Maybe this is the first design for a hot tub.
Maybe this is filthy literature and the guy wrote the cipher just so he wouldn't get his head cut off.
It was a really steamy pornography.
Yeah, with to paint a picture for the listener, there's like an elongated bathtub full of green liquid, full of pregnant naked women, with like windows in the bottom of it. So I guess people could look at their feet, fannies, I don't know.
Tell you what, if this is an elaborate way of hiding porn, it's fantastic. You know what I mean? Someone open it and go, "Oh, this is fucking nonsense." And they look through it, see all the drawings of flowers and shit, and just it's perfect.
Yeah.
What if the flowers?
It's to put you off at the start.
No. It's in code, right? So the flowers are actually, if you mix the right amount of them herbs together, it's giving you date rape drug recipes, stuff to put into the women's drinks.
Or a bit less creepy and dark, it could
aphrodisiacs.
Medieval Viagra.
Yeah, or that too. Could be
Or medieval, the word
aphrodisiac.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah. Right, what's next then, Ben?
Yeah, so illustrations of containers in the pharmaceutical section. Illustrations of containers are lined up next to illustrations of herbs, and in the end, there's only the recipe section with no illustrations at all. Only line after line of that incomprehensible text. Each paragraph marked with a star in the margin.
This one's bollocks. This one's bollocks.
Yeah.
Got those stars. You don't understand this one. This one.
Yeah. It's true, isn't it? It's like, well, why not just spend your fucking life looking at this? Oof.
It's very thick, though. It's big. There's lots of pages. So I imagine somebody somewhere, there must be a code to it. Somebody must have been able to decipher it at one point.
And I mean, it's written on goat skin as well.
Yeah, vellum.
Yeah, which I imagine wasn't cheap to come by.
No, it wasn't. No, it was quite an expensive writing source. So much expensive, the fact that once they finish, they would scrape it because it was quite thick. So
I'm going to
scrape the writing off.
I'm going to put my anthropological detective's hat on here and say that a man of science or medicine in the 1400s was most likely to be a man of high society, wasn't he? To have an education. So he would have been somebody who had money to buy a book worth of goat skin to put down all his secret inventions of miracle bathtubs. Maybe they were birthing pools like the Matrix. I don't know.
Maybe it's a voyeur show.
Maybe it's just really he was a bit of a pervy perv. Because humans were fully just as evolved back then as they are now. They would have had all the same sort of weird they'd have been perverts, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
1400 and something. Maybe it was written by one of them. A lot of time in it. Because surely as you're writing it in code, you've got to keep checking the cipher to make sure you're getting the code right. So that it's not gibberish. Must take forever.
I think this is gibberish.
Unless it's somehow bled through from another dimension. And in that dimension, it's very similar, except pregnant women bathe in green liquids, and that's the language.
So you're saying it slipped somehow through a gap in dimensions, and it's an alien language foreign to us. I'm surprised you haven't suggested it being an alien language yet, Ben.
Well,
it could be an alien.
It could be an Anunnaki artifact.
It could be an alien notebook.
It's not old enough for an. Why would the alien? Well, unless an alien crashed and wrote this shit out, that's a possibility.
Yeah, they'd have been studying us all through time. So they've still got us in the 1400s, and somebody was on a field research and they died somehow in an accident.
They did all these drawings of plants and things and the stars and shit, where the planet is. And
what if they're a group of aliens who looked exactly like Tudors?
Well, they'd have had to fit in, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Do you know what? I find myself, just a slight tangent, for the first time in the history of my existence, questioning the plausibility of Terminators the other night, and I was shocked with myself. Disgusting.
All right.
I never ever thought about it before, but I was like, they say that the tissue on the outside is living human tissue, and that's why it bleeds and stuff, and that's why, like Arnold ages in Terminator Genesis. But then how does the blood pump around that fake skin? There's no heart, there's no organs. Is there a vascular system? How is it pumping?
Yeah, it's probably just blood through wires, isn't it? Through tubes.
Okay. Yeah, it's gotta be. It's probably like a little electric motor somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably little tiny artificial capillaries to the skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm happy with that. Back to the alien.
It's living human tissues. I mean, they just skinned a bunch of people.
It's human living tissue surrounding a metal endoskeleton.
We can grow cells in the labs now, can't we?
So there you go. Boom.
So yeah, but we at the moment we're growing burgers. It's a bit way off from having we're going to have like a shitty little robot covered in burger flesh. That's what.
Yeah.
No, like a robot dog covered in burger skin.
They've all got to start somewhere.
It would just get pecked to death by seagulls the second you let it out. But one day, I admit, yes, we will be there. I know the robots are going to kill us all.
They will.
Yes, I know.
Finally, it took you 130 episodes.
Still doesn't mean I'm happy about it, or I have to accept that they're superior to us, because they never will be.
Do you also accept that I'm the leader of the human resistance?
Never, no, because you won't be. You'll be just as fucked as me. There'll be another lockdown. There'll be the alien invasion lockdown, and you'll just be following the rules like I am.
No, I'm volunteering to fight if it's the alien invasion.
God. Andy McNabb.
Of course I am. It's my planet. I live here. So the aliens have it.
All right, okay.
Come on.
All right, Rambo. Okay.
Have you got a list, Ben, of the possible explanations?
Yeah, I'm going to do it now.
Go on.
What do people think it means? So I've got the official ones. This whole thing is medical, wrote alchemist Bartius in 1639. And for most of the Voynich Manuscript's history, that's been about the closest thing to his consensus view about it. The plants, according to this interpretation, will be medicinal, and the illustrations of naked women will be anatomical. But the medical theory is far from the only interpretation that's emerged over the years. Early 20th century philosopher William Raymond Newbold argued that Roger Bacon really had written the whole thing, and that when properly decoded, the manuscript proved that Bacon had used both telescopes and microscopes to anticipate modern germ theory. The carbon date in the manuscript placed in the 15th century means it is impossible the 13th century Bacon could have written it.
Okay, that's him ruled out then.
Yes, Bacon is gone. There is no Bacon.
The pig fucker's gone.
Those aren't words I like to hear, There is no Bacon.
But how accurate is carbon dating? Why do we trust it so implicitly?
because it's considered the most accurate dating technique ever done.
Science. We've had enough of experts, Ben.
I think what they look at is the rate that the atom decays, isn't it, Ben?
Something like that, yeah.
So they can determine that if it's decayed this much, therefore it must be this old.
Oh. Okay.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track. Interesting fact that you can't carbon date anything after 1945. Anything made after 1945 won't be able to be carbon dated.
Yeah.
Because of the nuclear age.
Yeah, so you can't. Usually you measure it against background radiation.
Right.
But obviously since 1945 it's shot up because we use nuclear bombs and nuclear testing.
Oh, aren't humans great?
Yep.
Yeah. So next guy is military cryptographer William F. Friedman, who helped break Japan's purple cipher during World War II. So obviously knows what he's doing.
Uh-huh.
He collaborated with his wife and fellow cryptographer Elizabeth for years in an attempt to decode the manuscript. Ultimately, they concluded that cracking the code was impossible and that the Voynich Manuscript was an early attempt to construct an artificial or universal language of the priori type.
Esperanto?
Basically, yeah. A computer scientist, guy named Gordon Rugg, thinks the whole thing is a hoax and the reason no one can decode the manuscript is that there's nothing to decode. Botanist Arthur Tucker thinks it depicts Mexican plants. Physicist Andreas Schinner thinks it was written by an autistic monk who subconsciously followed a strange mathematical algorithm in his head. I quite like that one.
I like that explanation. I think that's the plausibility.
Rain Man monk.
Yeah. Scores of other enthusiastic would-be code breakers over the years have created dozens of other theories, ranging from the vaguely plausible sounding to the extremely wild. So what else have you got?
It could be a rare prayer book from the Cathars, not destroyed by the Inquisition, written in a pidgin version of a German Romance Creole.
That's interesting, because the Cathars were wiped out by the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So they had apparently a massive library.
The other one I've got is it just could be nonsense written by a medieval quack to impress his clientele.
Yeah.
Or obviously it could be a doctor who obviously wants to guard his secrets, and so has written it in a code, and there's a code book that goes with it, and that's missing. Therefore, you're fucked.
Mike, I like that. Sorry, the one you just said, I like that idea. So a lot of people couldn't read back then, could they?
No.
You're a sham doctor. They come into you, and you open up your book of gibberish bollocks that you've made. You're like, just look here. Oh, it says here in the expert medical journal, I give you 2 slaps on the knee and a fart in the ear, and you give me all the gold you own.
Leeches. More leeches.
Yeah, and now
that's probably the most plausible, isn't it?
Just a sham artist.
Yeah. That's probably the most plausible.
Snake oil
razor, all that.
Instead you thought, hang on, if I'm not making a lot of money writing Bibles out all the time and illustrating them. What if I make up this random shit and just say I've just discovered it and it's, in this strange language? We'd get more money for it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I do. I like the autistic idea as well, just an absolute lunatic. 'Cause that makes sense with autism, doesn't it? Him having a secret language, secret code.
Yeah.
But
and
would
that would explain the naked women in pools.
But it would be interesting to know how easy it would have been to get that many pages of goat skin, whether you would need to be someone with money, or, I don't know, were universities around in 1400? Educational institutions. Who knows? The problem is, without the code, we're fucked. It's literally impossible without the cipher, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless you got infinite monkeys to read infinite copies.
Yeah.
And then eventually one of them would, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. Yeah. So it's taking a while to look through them, though, isn't it?
If you gave infinite monkeys infinite electric guitars, would one of them eventually play the solo to Sweet Child of Mine?
Yes.
Yes, he would.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hopefully it'd be fairly near the start, because infinite is a long time.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if an AI computer will be able to crack it.
Well, computers have had a look at it, but
not an AI computer, though.
Not an AI computer, admittedly, not something that'd be
But
shit up.
I'm a bit thick though, but without the code, it's impossible, isn't it? You'll
No,
never
because
know.
an AI might be able to look at
The
every possibility it could be. You know, if they're using a quantum computer.
Imagine spending the money to use a quantum computer at the world's best university to decipher the fucking gibberish, a mad monk, or the sham tools salesman. But still, it's interesting because he is old as fuck. There ain't many things from that period, are there, really? Like,
There's still, who knows what the Vatican's got? I mean, they have older stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got things. You got the Bayer tapestry, haven't you? That's not far from this time. And
it's 1066. It's a few hundred years earlier. So yeah, it's stuff does survive.
Have we got many like full manuscripts and books and things? Like,
yeah, imagine.
I mean, I don't know shit.
You can never say for 100% it's 100% there, but as long as it doesn't.
The most famous book of all time in this country, the Doomsday Book. That was this time, wasn't it? That's still a.
Well, no, that was again a few hundred years earlier.
Fuck. I don't make
1070 something.
Was that handwritten?
Yeah.
Of course it was.
I'm taking the piss. It wasn't printed.
No, it all went downhill when the printing press kicked off.
No, it didn't, because that eventually led to comics.
Well, yeah, but it also led to this. It led to propaganda, which is terrible, really, isn't it?
But it also led to literacy, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, Ben, listen to you. So, in your paradise, you control like the books that people read.
No.
Okay, just checking.
Unless it's like David Icke's work, obviously.
Oh!
He should be allowed to have his opinions. I mean, as mental and bollocks and unproven as they are, he should be welcome to have them. But I do, at the same time.
Free speech, or you haven't.
Yeah.
Simple as, isn't it?
Yeah.
You grinding weed, Gaz?
No, why?
Yeah,
sorry. Can you hear that? Sorry, I'm scratching my chest, and sorry. I was professional.
You may have noticed that few of the theorists I've just named are scholars of medieval manuscripts by profession. That's because most medieval scholars tend to believe that the Voynich Manuscript probably discussed medicine in some way, and also that no theory has generated a decoded text that looks convincing, so there's no point in speculating much further than that. But for decades, I've been patiently debunking wild theory after wild theory about the manuscript. Into that atmosphere of endless wild theories, all endlessly debunked, came Nicholas Gibbs. Nicholas Gibbs. What's wrong with his theory?
Any relation to the Bee Gees?
I don't know. Or Gibbs from NCIS.
Okay, yeah. Right, what was his theory?
He is a historical researcher and television writer, and he argues the apparent code of the Voynich Manuscript is actually a series of Latin abbreviations, with each character standing for an abbreviated word rather than a letter. Once the character is decoded, he claims the manuscript becomes clear. It is an instruction manual for the health and well-being of the more well-to-do women in society. The recipe section, really is a series of recipes for women's health.
It would explain the drawings.
It would.
So every character is actually another word.
Yeah.
For me, it's a tome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's true, I'm not sure about that, but I think it is what he says it is, but I don't think. I find it difficult to believe every character's a word.
Yeah, that's a really weird way to code something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or a form of shorthand that's just died out, maybe.
Well, possibly.
Useless to read without this code, though. Useless to read without the cipher. But Could be.
Here's the problem with it.
I've covered my sheepskin, goatskin in utter gibberish.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. The abbreviations Gibbs is proposing don't render themselves into readable Latin. They're not grammatically correct. Lisa Fagin Davies, executive director of the Medieval Academy of America, said it doesn't result in Latin that makes sense.
What does an American know about the medieval times?
Well, she's obviously a professor.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
I know. I was going to make a joke about a woman professor.
Man.
We've moved past that sort of humour, haven't we, boys?
We've been very... so hang on, let's rephrase that. You two have been very Bernard Manning-esque.
What?
Bernard Manning-esque.
Every week you tell us about your eugenical dream fucking utopia.
I've never said nothing about eugenics.
It all sounds a bit eugenical. You want to kill the religious people and the stupid people.
Re-educate them.
And you keep trying to measure my skull.
He's got a tape measure.
Oh, you understand, Mike? You've got a skull the size of a stagecoach handle.
Right, what are we doing?
As for the idea that a missing index is the key to everything, Davis says that this is the piece that really killed it for me. While there's some evidence that the manuscript is missing pages, there's no compelling reason to think the missing pages were an index. I'd imagine it is, to be fair.
Well, I bet the bit that makes it all readable, obviously isn't there, is it? So that bit is missing. It must exist, otherwise there's no point. And it is just the scribblings of a fucking lunatic.
I think scribblings of a lunatic's winning for me, to be fair.
It's very neat scribblings, though, isn't it?
Well, he could have been off his tits on mushrooms constantly.
He could have been like, I got my own language I made. Oh,
that God. Could also be it.
Yeah, he could have spent 3 days on mushrooms, and he's thinking he's writing the most amazing piece of work anyone's ever going to read. And when he finally comes down, he looks at it and oh my God, I've just spent 3 days writing gibberish.
I'm drawing pictures of naked women.
I sold my house to buy all this goat skin.
They used to scrape them if there was nothing important on them. So we lost what they thought wasn't important. So we lost potentially shit tons of old records because Christians and Renaissance people either couldn't understand the language or thought it was crap. So they just scraped the ink off with a knife and reused the vellum again.
There's no naked women in green baths in this one. Scrape the shit.
Yeah, scrape it.
You load of wank. Who'd read that?
Yeah. So Nick Pelling...
think what was green because it was so filthy, because it was the 1400s.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it was seawater.
Oh, yeah. Ew, bathing in seawater.
That'll cure what ails you.
Mind you, it's probably the height of luxury at that time.
Well, no, they would have a warm bath. The Romans used to have hot baths, didn't they? So I don't think the tradition had died out completely. They didn't take baths very often.
Well, England didn't go for a very smelly few hundred years.
Yeah, well, Christ. Fucking hell, pretty much, I think in late 1800s, the sewers in London all backed up. They had to completely redo them.
Yeah, in these days, guys, they just used to chuck the shit out the window. I mean, this is Blackadder. Between Blackadder the first and Blackadder the second, isn't it, man?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the way you should have explained it to me earlier. That's a good way for me to tell. Date something.
Oh, he's going to base all our history on Blackadder.
Just movies, TV, stuff I've seen. Because I haven't seen history, I've seen movies.
I did also say between Robin Hood and Braveheart.
Yeah, that's good. I enjoyed that. I got that reference.
Yeah, good. Good.
Back to you, Ben.
For Nick Pelling, who runs the Voynich Manuscript focus site Cipher Mysteries, the more pressing issue is that Gibbs' theory doesn't offer anything new to the field. Gibbs, he said in a statement to Vox, has essentially cherry-picked from all various old theories that had already been debated and debunked without contributing anything new of his own. Worse yet, his theory lacks elegance. It isn't anchored by a through line, but instead consists of an old, overworked, half-baked theories linked together in a half-hearted narratives.
I love that. It lacks elegance.
Yeah.
It's from a different time, isn't it?
It lacks elegance, dear boy.
Yes, it can't be it.
Okay, well, he was obviously a charlatan then, just ripping off other people's work.
Yeah.
What a cunt.
I see, because loads of them have said before, Gibbs, it's probably a woman's health manual.
Yeah.
So he's got that down, but he's just nicked everyone else's bits and bobs and stuck them together in a hodgepodge, a smorgasbord of bollocks.
Oh, you love that word, don't you?
I do. Love it. So why does anyone care about this thing? You know, so what?
It's old
Can't
as
read
fuck,
it.
and we don't know what it says. It's a mystery. We love mysteries.
So in the 600 years the Voynich Manuscript has existed, we know of no one who has been able to read a word of it or use it to accomplish anything useful. Yet people have devoted their lives to studying it. Kings have paid gold for it. Alchemists have pored over it. And military cryptologists have sweated over it. Internet conspiracy theorists have built websites devoted to it.
Well, you know the guy who it's actually named after, the one who bought it, and the guy, what's it called? Voynich, whatever.
Yeah,
Voynich. He believed there was some sort of important secret that would be revealed about medieval life contained within, didn't he? Like something like earth-shattering, groundbreaking, something really, really important. I don't know. Do you? Or do you think it's just a medical journal?
I think it's the scribblings of a madman.
Nothing important in there at all.
I just think if it was important, then, you know, medicine wasn't...
Maybe it's how you get adrenochrome. Maybe it's harvesting babies from those pregnant women in those weird scenes.
Well, it could be, yeah.
See? So
you have to mix it with these certain herbs.
Yeah.
And you have to eat it by these sort of different sort of constellations.
Yeah. When the constellations are aligned like this, get them pregnant women in a bath, feed them these herbs, and then harvest the children's adrenochrome.
It could be written in Draconian.
Yeah.
The bad guy, Rocky IV.
Yeah, him.
Oh, no. That's Drago. Sorry.
Nah.
It's
could be written in Draconian from the planet Draco.
Oh.
Yeah.
Planet
could
Drake.
be the language of hell itself.
Ooh.
Wow. Oh, that's Polish.
It's a very difficult language.
Yeah, I was going to say, just purely by the difficulty. I've got nothing against the Polish.
It's just a mystery, isn't it? I suppose we do love mysteries.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think there's also some tragedy linked to it. Well, not tragedy, but everyone who's ever owned it has been obsessed with having it deciphered and has got nowhere and wasted shit tons of money and time in this pursuit. And still, but now it's at which university? One of the big important Yale Uni, and his people study it all the time, apparently, trying to. Because I mean, it's interesting just to have something from the 1400s that we can.
Plus, if you're a cryptologist, it's like the Holy Grail, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah,
the one. I'm going to crack that code. People probably learn cryptology just to have a crack at.
Possibly.
It certainly could be an inspiration for them to get into the field, couldn't it?
I imagine there has been probably thousands of dissertations written about it and things. It's been studied continuously. It is interesting. It's a mystery, isn't it? We love a mystery. It probably will be something quite mundane. It usually is, isn't it?
Yeah, scrub your fanny.
I'd like to think it's an adrenochrome recipe book, though. Not because I think harvesting blood from children after raping them is a good thing. I just, you know...
You hope not.
It would just be interesting. You know.
Is that what you get as a key worker now?
All right, this might be a slight tangent. I've got a moral question to pose you.
Okay.
You're at a party or something and you meet somebody and you get talking and he lets you know if you want it, he's got some adrenochrome.
Right.
Do you take it just to try it? Or do you morally say, there's no way I can take that because is it not harvested from a child?
Oh, so what are the
It depends on the source, doesn't it? It depends on the source of it. If it's from a child, then fuck no, that's just wrong on so many levels. But if it's like from a pig or something, then maybe, I don't know.
What am I getting out of this?
How about, well, doesn't adrenochrome make you, like, youthful and strong and, you know?
Yeah, apparently so, but is he also inviting me into the inner circle of ruling the world?
No, he's just offering you, like somebody offering you a line at a party. He's just like...
and it's down the source then in that scenario.
What I would do is probably just not ask any questions and think, well, that kid's already dead.
It's a valid point, but also come from a man that smoked meth from a light bulb.
Oh, God.
Of course you take it, you smoke meth from a light bulb. Of course you take the drugs regardless of source.
Well, when you're doing coke at some highfalutin party, you don't think about the, you know, shoeless Colombian farmhands, do you?
No, I suppose you don't. Fuck it, I'm taking it too then, sod it. It's adrenochrome, at least I'll get a few more years of life.
I don't know if you have to take it regular, though. I think that's the problem, that's the snag. I think it's got to be, it's kind of, you know, vitamin.
It must slow down the aging process for a bit.
Or is it like a vampire thing? Is it like a craving for it once you've had it?
I don't know. You know what, we need to do an adrenochrome episode. But what's funny, man, is that's one of the ones that spread through to because there's someone who's a bit of a village idiot, I'll be honest, who goes to the same marijuana source that I do. Otherwise, I would never speak to this human being. He's literally only got 3 teeth in his head, literally. Moron. And this motherfucker shot the shit out of me a few weeks ago by starting to go on about adrenochrome and like the Illuminati and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? Because obviously the guy's got no job, but he does have the internet. So yeah, that one's broke through.
Wow.
Adrenochrome's gone mainstream, man.
So I just well, yeah. Well, then again, he's only got to fucking sign up to it because any conspiracy group on Facebook, and he's going to see adrenochrome at some point.
That's true. Yeah.
So the guy who runs the website about this Pelling, he argues the fascination the manuscript wields has less to do with whatever might be hidden in its code than for what we can use it to say about us. When we pore endlessly through its ciphered text, we may or may not be getting all that close to what the scribe who originally penned the manuscript intended to express. But the ideas that we project onto the manuscript can reveal a lot about ourselves and what we hold to be important. The evil beauty of the Voynich Manuscript, he says, is that it holds up a mirror to our souls.
Ooh. Oh, what a fucking hippie.
Yeah, I thought that.
I liked it.
What a fucking cock. So what's the mirror saying? It bollocks.
I don't know if anyone's tried it.
Mirror universe, though.
So some clumsy fucker just dropped it through dimensions.
Somehow, there was a glitch. Somehow, glitch in the Matrix.
Time keeps on slipping. Dimension jump.
Yeah. Has anyone just tried sticking a mirror next to it and seeing if it's just written backwards?
Fuck, imagine if that's it.
That would be so funny. If it just
get yourself to Yale University immediately.
I mean, Da Vinci used to write backwards.
Just imagine that. Ben just turns up and goes, "This document for 800 years, no one else would decipher it."
Fucking drunk Englishman.
Drunk sticking a mirror in front
Englishman.
of it.
Yeah, just an idea, you know. Da Vinci used to write backwards to stop people stealing his ideas.
I would love it if that was the answer.
He walks in. Here. Any of you fucking specking pricks thought of putting a fucking mirror on it. It says, get 3 leaves of peppermint. Oh. And then they give Ken a fucking grant and he gets arrested. University. Fucking
He gets
hell.
a Nobel Prize.
Jesus Christ. He'll be unbearable.
Oh man, I'm just asking the question.
If anyone from Yale University is listening,
Give it a go.
yeah, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
That might be the smartest thing I've ever said.
The dumbest.
Or the dumbest. Well,
I said all the dumbest.
All
the dumbest as well.
You know, out of the mouths of babes, as they say.
And you say I can't lead the resistance.
No, you can't. You're still a moron. But you're our moron, Ben.
Oh. You're going to send me that little care emoji later on.
Oh, God. To cheer me up later, will you make a video of you trying to, like, plug something in? Cheer me up no end. Like a 15-minute video.
Actually, yesterday afternoon I had a problem with the Xbox controller. I was pressing the little button to turn it on, and the battery pack's a bit shagged as it is, and I kept thinking that it was just like it just wasn't coming on, and eventually realised I just wasn't holding it down for long enough.
Like,
Took me a couple of minutes.
Did you get angry and smash it like a gorilla?
No.
You realise this? Are you sure?
Yes.
Shake it and frown at it.
I scratched my head and, like, oh.
And angrily beat your chest until it said.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then I
shot your housemate round, aggressively chasing your housemate round. Xbox, no work. You tried holding the button down. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. Not that I'm technologically inept or anything.
Yeah, it's okay. You've got other qualities. You know a lot about history and like 90s Premier League stats.
That's true.
Actually,
my knowledge of conspiracy theories is quite high. I think I only got one wrong in the quiz the other day.
Done. Well, I was thinking about you the other day, sort of. Well, like Blackburn, right? I was thinking. Now I know you've got actual reasons to support Blackburn, but remember the first few seasons of the Premier League where they were actually really good and they won.
Yeah.
Like Premier League titles with Shearer and stuff. How many like sort of glory hunter people jumped on and became Blackburn fans during
Funny you say that, Gaz. Funny you say that. Because Ben used to be a Man United supporter.
Oh, when he was little, the truth comes out.
Yeah.
And then when Blackburn won the title, he switched allegiances.
And now you're stuck with him all these years. Get up, shit. They haven't won fuck off since then.
Who won the League Cup in 2002?
Woo!
Got into the Europa League a few times.
Oh, it's the stuff of dreams. Oh, the stuff that is.
I stuck there though.
Yeah, I was thinking how many of them people just fucked off and started supporting someone else, how many of them actually hung on.
This is it.
Yeah, the same sort of thing happened to me. I never used to support a team, and then like, you remember the days when it was just the cup final on TV? Yeah. That was it. That was the only live football you'd get, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember 91 cup final, Forest v Spurs, and I thought at the beginning of the game, oh, I've got to support one team, so I supported Forest, and they lost 2-1. And then the season after that, they got relegated from the Prem.
It was a good introduction. It was a good preparation for life as a Forest fan. Do you know what? I do drive past the ground though once a week, and it's quite a nice, impressive ground from the outside for a, little club.
Yeah. I've been there once, but yeah.
quite nice. Because I drive past a few stadiums, and not all stadiums are created equal. In one day, I drove past the Blues, Birmingham, Villa, West Brom, and the Molineux in one day. The Baggy Stadium is noticeably dog shit from the outside. It looks like a shithole. Villa Park looks quite impressive from the outside. It's got like a lot of brick stuff, hasn't it? And the Molineux just looks like a stadium, I suppose. But yeah, the Baggies noticeably look shitter than the others.
Have you seen the Britannia Stadium, Stoke?
Whose is that, Stoke? Yes, I have.
That's a nice stadium, isn't it?
Yeah. Quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, quite new, yeah. I went there, probably about 15 years ago now, but it was just built, when I went there.
Still new for a stadium, innit, I suppose. Wow. So talking about football grounds, guys.
Should we do weird news?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
Alex Jones threatens to eat globalists and neighbours to keep children from starving amid COVID-19 pandemic.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do to keep his family alive.
Infowars founder Alex Jones is trending on social media and making waves with critics, including his ex-wife, thanks to a video rant in which he says he's ready to cannibalise his neighbours to survive the COVID-19 pandemic.
What a guy.
I'll eat my neighbours. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest, Jones said during a live broadcast of his show this week.
But doesn't he sort of rally against these globalists who want to eat your kids and eat the adrenochrome? Like every week. That's what he says. They're cannibals. I want to turn us into cannibals. And now he's just saying, I'll eat my neighbours.
Yeah. Apparently he's got a few years worth of food stormed up, but he doubled down on the promise to eat his neighbours should it come to that. I'm literally looking at my neighbours now going, am I really going to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up? And you know what? I'm ready. My daughter's not starving to death. I'll eat my neighbours.
Well, don't you think, shouldn't he be able to survive off some of his really good guaranteed supplements that he sells?
He should have a fucking shed full of that. He'd be fine. Yeah.
He should have a fucking warehouse full of it. So, you know what I mean? He should be fine, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
He should have bomb shelters and all sorts.
It doesn't really say much for his products if he'd rather eat his neighbours first before he delves into that. honey, shouldn't we just eat the packets downstairs? Fuck that, it's safer to eat the fucking neighbours.
And he's going to go out there, literally shoot them, drag them back to his house, hang them up, gut them, skin them, prepare them as cuts of meat, and then cook them physically. Man's a fucking sociopath.
I was going to say, it's one thing, like, if they die from COVID and he decides to cook the bodies, but is he just going to go murder them so he can eat?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's like a whole different thing then, isn't it, Alex? I will fucking commit mass fucking murder to feed his children. Oh, man, I'm sure he could just get some. I'm sure they'd like a tin of ravioli.
Yeah, I'm sure he could go to the food bank.
Man of his means, do you know what I mean? A man of Alex's means, I'm sure he could just get a few. But he's got to make it sound to his listeners that it's as bad. We know how he works. He's got to make it sound like this is the worst thing that's ever happened. You're all going to fucking die. He'd eat his neighbour to survive because he's a fucking real man. You know, it's all bollocks, isn't it? You know, at the end of this rant, if we actually go and find the video, you know, towards the end of it somehow turns into an advert for his website and his products.
Yeah. So
he'd be like, I'll eat my neighbours. You don't have to because you can buy mushroom tea, pill, tablet form, powder, sachets. Fucking hell.
Or he starts selling human skinning knives.
Oh, God.
And diagrams of how to get the best cuts of meat off a human.
Oh, wow. Oh, please don't, Alex.
Like a cannibal cookbook in a way.
To be honest, though, in an apocalyptic scenario, I want to be around Alex.
Why? So he can kill you and eat you?
Not if you're one of his inner circle.
I think he'd turn on you all eventually.
Well, eventually maybe he would, but...
He has got vitamins and guns by the shit ton. And money. He's definitely the right person to... And government connections, CIA connections, alien connections, Russian connections.
Yeah.
He's the man.
I'm going to be a wandering road warrior, so I got my thing planned out.
He's basically like, you'd rather be in a survival situation, you'd rather be stuck with Alex Jones than David Icke.
Well, yeah.
What the fuck's David Icke going to do? Torture
you? Slap him with his cord-like hands?
He can't even open a can of beans.
He's going to talk exactly with them fucked up hands, but he's going to spend 10 hours talking to you about lizards, and at the end of the 10 hours, he goes, but David, I still need some fucking food. Be patiently and carefully, you cripped up fucking weird-handed. Fucking hell.
Well, give it a choice to the two, then yeah, Alex.
Nah. We've done the lizards. Now I'm going to do 5 hours on the 5. He's listening. I'd love to interview you someday, because if you ever do him on an interview, you don't have to do anything. You just go, so David, he's like, right, fucking lizards and that, fucking...
Yeah.
10-hour podcast a week, getting progressively higher as Ike just keeps ranting and ranting at us.
You just introduce him at the start, get stoned for an hour, and say thank you at the end. Bless him. Not the friendliest of blokes, you know, I don't think.
No.
I think he thinks everyone's a shill.
I think he thinks everyone's a cunt for mocking him after the Jesus statement.
He had it coming. David, what did you expect, man? You had a fucking shell suit on. How would the Son of God really wear a fucking shell suit, a purple one?
If he was born in the 80s, yes, probably.
Fucking hell. That should be the name of a song, shouldn't it? Jesus in a shell suit. Jesus.
I think it's got to be.
That's David Icke's new nickname when you introduce him. And here we have one of the proponents of the lizard theory, one of the most famous conspiracy theorists on the planet, shell suit Jesus himself, David Icke.
And then he immediately just hangs up.
Fucking cunt. And you can hear him trying to fucking hang up, but he can't because of his weird hands. He has to get his son to do it. Fucking
we are mocking one of the patron saints of the show. I mean,
well.
He does look like he's turning into a lizard, though.
It's so ironic. Oh man, isn't it ironic when you skin after you spend 10 hours talk.
Oh, fucking hell.
Bless him. Sorry, David, we just fucking ripped you a new arsehole there, didn't we?
We actually got nothing against you.
We still think you should be on Facebook.
Yeah, I definitely think you should be on there. Freedom!
Free David Icke.
Either everyone's got the same freedoms, or none of us have fucking got them, or it's all a fucking shit.
Exactly, guys.
Fuck you, Facebook. Yeah, but don't get me wrong. They've threatened us a couple of times, haven't they?
Yeah.
But community.
Yes.
We're on thin ice.
We are, yeah. We've got to sort of. We should if we were professional about it, we should set up a vetting process where all three of us give our veto. But I can't be asked for that.
And you just belch down your phone.
For comedy effect. I was showing my insubordinance.
You just like Trump, aren't you? You just belched down the phone. That's disgusting. It was for comedy effect.
I was being sarcastic. Nobody's more sarcastic than me, okay? Nobody.
All right, next weird news then.
Okay, a man started a house fire trying to kill Black widow spiders with a blowtorch.
I completely support this man's actions.
Wow.
A California man did something understandable. The man was house sitting for his parents in Fresno when he discovered an unspecified amount of black widow spiders in his home. Doing what any reasonable human would do upon seeing a monster, he listened to 50,000 years of human evolution and sought fire to kill it with.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the man grabbed a blowtorch and sent the spiders back to hell.
Which is where they're from.
Unfortunately, in the process of erasing a few abominations from the earth, he also lit the house on fire. Though it would have been safer for everyone if the house had burned to the ground entirely, the Fresno Fire Department showed up and decided to contain the fire.
That was nice of them.
It's sort of their job.
Yeah, I suppose it is, but if I was like a fireman and someone has done that, I'd be like, well, I accept your actions, but also was a bit stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah, so you deserve to lose your house. We're just going to stand there and watch it burn, you cunt.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why you're not a fireman. There's many reasons why you're not a fireman.
I'd go up, I'd light a cigarette off the flames of his burning house and then walk away.
You should have called a fucking, what they call exterminator, mate.
Well, yeah. Sorry, mate. Wrong people.
Your parents would still have an house.
Yeah, unlucky.
Dear. Oh, poor bastard. Oh, well, they saved his house. That's just our fantasy, isn't it, that they let it burn?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Yeah. In a
But then again,
Facebook
if he
post-
just said, if I was, what did you do this for? There was a shit ton of black widow spiders in there. I'd be like, just let it burn down, mate. I understand your reasons. Let it burn down.
Kill the nest.
I would have broke into the off license and started throwing Molotov cocktails into it. No, I like spiders, to be fair. They don't bother me.
I don't like hundreds of black widow spiders.
No, I sucked a massive one up the Hoover today, and I felt really guilty. I was like, oh, it's a pretty cruel thing. And then I thought, he'll probably just crawl back out, and I'll have to kill it again, all over again. I try not to kill them, but this one was just in a place that I was like, trying to catch that may result in it dropping on my face, and then I'll have to kill myself. So...
Yeah, I hate killing things. I felt guilty about killing a wasp the other week.
I do honestly try to avoid killing spiders.
But it was like, it came back like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, you're just asking for it, dude, you know what I mean?
Wasps, to be honest, a wasp, I'll try not to, but if I have to. I've punched a wasp before, that was very satisfying. It took a few swings, and my friends were laughing at me like, you'll never hit it, and then I like perfectly connected with it right on the face. Punched a wasp right in the face, and it flew against the window, hit the windowsill, lay there for a little bit, and then fucked off. And I was like, oh, I've never felt so manly.
Wow.
I had to get rid of this spider. Yeah, but then one stung me. I've only been stung once, then it wasn't long after that, and it was horrible. One landed on my neck when I was just walking along, minding my own fucking business, landed on my throat and stung me on the throat, man. Hurt like fuck. Have you ever been stung by one?
Yeah, on the back of the neck I have, yeah.
I think...
I stung on the hand.
Did it really hurt? Because I don't know if it's because of where it was.
Did. Yeah.
I was shocked by how much it hurt.
Well, I was walking up a hill, a wooded hill. I put my hand down and I felt this fucking sharp pain. I was like, what the fuck was that? Looked down, just put my hand in a wasp nest, hadn't I?
Oh, no.
Wow.
So I trampled to death the wasp that stung me and fucked off as fast as I could.
Yeah, good on you. I saw a bee swarm once, scared me to death, but and it was at Glastonbury. It was unbelievable. The stall, about 2 or 3 stalls up. Well, we noticed basically a bee swarm in the distance. We didn't know there were bees. Like the guy I was working for, I at the time looked up to him a lot. And he's a lot more older and more experienced than me. And if he's panicking, I'm panicking. And he was like wrapping himself in a blanket, like, holy fuck. And like the queen bee just landed under a table a few stalls up. And so the rest of the bees just swarm around her and like make a thing. Like a hive, not hive. They make like a ball around her. But you can imagine a busy market at a festival and a bee swarm comes along. It was like a movie. People were screaming and like, but because Glastonbury's amazing, there's a resident like kind of bee man on site, like farm, and he came and he put out a big sheet and like a smoke bomb thing, and like they all fell off and into the sheet, and then he bagged them up and took them off somewhere safe.
Aww.
That's my B story.
Cool.
Just
he also explained to us, well, to everyone who was gathered around watching, it was quite that they were like honeybee things, and they're not actually dangerous or aggressive, really. They can sting, but all they're interested in is following that queen. So just chill.
Yeah.
There you go.
Did you show me boxing skills?
No, I haven't done any of them.
Dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
I like a bee, but I tell you what, try it next time. Punch a wasp.
All right, I'll give it a go.
You'll feel like a dick if he comes back at you and stings you because you've just pissed him off. But yeah, satisfactory.
I just want to point out that I do kill the spiders that come in my house because I'm sending a message to the rest of them.
How do you think that message gets?
Don't go in there, no one ever comes out.
Oh, they talk in their little spider language.
Yeah, little spider language.
I don't think they get on with each other because once I saw a spider on the garage wall at the back of the garage, and I counted, I was having a fag, and I was like, it's got too many legs. And I realised it was at the last stages of eating another spider.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, they are cannibalistic.
Yeah. And like the other leg, the two legs of the other spider were hanging out of its mouth, basically. From what I could work. Yeah.
Well, either way, they belong to. They need to be sent back to the hell they came from.
I don't know. They're useful though, aren't they?
Kill flies, for fuck's sake.
So I have to try and tell myself.
I prefer spiders to flies, so.
Well, all right.
Okay. Did we finish that story?
Yeah, that's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Whose turn is it?
Yours next, last one.
Okay. And finally, small penises used to be more desired according to historians.
I always knew. I always felt I could have been born at a different time.
Well, according to historians who spoke with Vice, the ancient Greeks actually used to prefer small and dainty penises on men, partly because the Greeks were all about balance, and anything too big would be perceived as imbalanced. Oh, sure, that's good enough reasoning for frickin' Aristotle. That's literally how this article's written. I hate the informal fucking way modern articles are written. It pisses me off. Fucking children.
Black elegance, doesn't it, Gaz?
Written by children for children. What has the fucking world come to? Too much. Just expect a little bit of journalistic fucking integrity. Just some standards. You utter cunt. You're not my mate.
Yeah, this isn't from a newspaper though, is it? It's from a magazine, so it's...
Oh, but still, fucking, you're not my mate, magazine. Stop trying to talk to me like you're my mate. I don't give a shit. It adds nothing to the article.
No, I know, it's annoying as fuck, isn't it?
And you're not funny. Right, sorry, I'll go back to what it was saying. So that would be imbalanced, anything too big. The preference seems to have spread beyond ancient Greece to the Romans, Egyptians, and even all the way to medieval Christian society. The Greeks, Romans, etc. used big penises as comedic relief in stories and plays because they found them so gross and ridiculous and stupid. Medieval artists used huge dicks to get a laugh as well, but also to depict someone as heretical or even straight up evil.
I must be the most evil man in Britain.
Most obvious.
I know.
To be fair, I was literally just about to make that joke.
You just pissed I got there before you.
Yeah, I was. And Mike beat me to the I was born out of time joke as well. That was a smoking cough, not a corona cough. Okay? Nobody panic. Of course, a man packing a piglet, being society's preferred male standard, didn't survive to this modern age of American exceptionalism. Nowadays, if your hog couldn't win a ribbon at the state fair, you might as well resign yourself to a life of sadness and second-place finishes. Like
sloppy seconds.
Yes. You think storming the beaches at Normandy would have been easy with your dick slapping around your knee? No. Those brave men's dicks were practically fully retracted thanks to the cold water and fear. Small penises defeated Hitler. To be fair, Hitler was also purported to have a small penis, and maybe he was such an angry guy because everyone made fun of it. Huh? Ever think of that? Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's from rare.com. Fuck off. Written like... Yeah, but the only reason I know this because I saw this previously on some sort of art documentary about statues. Because if you notice, they all have little dainty cocks.
Yeah.
Then some period after that, somebody went round covering them with leaves because they suddenly decided penises were rude.
Yeah.
No, it was actually a lot of that.
And they
was
cut
in
them
Rome.
off.
They cut them off. Some pope went around cutting them off.
But that's also where the fig leaves come from as well, though. They didn't start up
Yeah.
with the leaves. Some of them. I think I've got that right. I don't know. Could be completely wrong. Remember, listener, you're the fact checker. I can't be asked. Well, that was the weird news.
Yep.
Well, the Greeks did love a penis.
Right. I don't know what to say. I guess that all countries love cocks, technically, or there wouldn't be any. No one would exist.
Well, the ancient Greeks just loved penises.
Loved a cock.
Yeah.
Well,
On that bombshell.
On that bombshell, I've been Ben. Don't drink the Flavour Aid. Don't join a cult unless it's a tiger cult. And thanks for listening. Stay safe.
A Telford tiger cult.
Yeah.
I will say, I have been Gaz. Thank you very much for listening. Free Biff Tannen. And David Icke.
I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Peace out. May the force be with you.
Started a Jedi course yet, Mike?
Started it, yeah. Started it ages ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, advanced on it?
No.
No.
I've been too busy during lockdown.
Well, that Czech second division team and championship manager isn't going to get to the Premiership itself, is it?
Exactly.
Boom. In your face.
All right. Good night.